Hey, thanks again for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Today, I just wanted to talk just for a couple of minutes about why I actually do what I do. I know you as a business owner get called all the time. You get solicited all the time for all of the different services that you have to pay for, and credit card processing, point of sale systems are in your top two to three expenses that you have to pay every single month, which is extremely frustrating. And so I just wanted to share why I do what I do. Many people that I talk to in the payment space, outside of the payment space, can't believe I work in this space. But for me, it's personal. So my story is originally born and raised in Fresno, California. Was raised around entrepreneurs. I've been on job sites in the construction space since I was about 6 years old. My dad built houses. My mother sold homes. And so I've been to open houses, but I've also done roofing. I've done sheetrock. I've dug foundations. I've done framing. I've done it all. Right. And so I've been around entrepreneurs from the time I was very young. And, my mom and dad never got married. So they split when I was very young. My mom was a single mom, ended up working really hard to take care of my older brother and I. My dad ended up, unfortunately, being around the wrong crowd, getting in the wrong things, and we became, at risk youth, right? And so we grew up in a time where our mom, very entrepreneurial, worked her butt off to make sure we had food to eat and a safe place to live and all of those things. And so my respect for entrepreneurs was shaped at a very young age. In the fifth grade, custody was given to my biological dad, who was still battling some challenges. And during that time, from the fifth to the eighth grade, when I lived with him, I got expelled 6 times before I got to high school, just because of some of the challenges that we were wrestling with. But the people who would hire my dad when I'd be kicked out of school, I got to go to work with him. But the people that hired him happened to be entrepreneurs. These were people who own their own businesses, own their own real estate. And so those were the people that I looked up to, whether it was my mom, who's an entrepreneur working for herself, or it was the people that hired my dad and my dad also working for himself as well, all really inspired me. And so when I got out of college in 2006 at Portland State University, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And I proved that by having 16 jobs over the course of a decade. And my 16th job happened to be payment systems, which is the fifth largest payment processor in the country at the time. Went to work for them, worked there 2.5 years, ended up leaving after 2.5 years because of a situation that I had at work. One day I sat across the table from a restaurant owner who was from Thailand, and he was frustrated about his experience with his point of sale system. I promised him that I'd go back to the office and advocate for him. And as I did, the managers that I reported it to didn't want to do anything about it. And they basically told me to, find another tree to bark up or whatnot. Didn't want to help the merchant. So that afternoon I wrote my resignation letter and I went to work in nonprofit. I was sold on leaving sales in the payment processing industry forever because it's not really the industry that really intrigues me. The opportunity was to help business owners avoid the pain and frustration that they experience when working with credit card processing companies. And why is that? The reason why I stayed in the industry initially was because I saw business owners having their rates change all the time. I saw point of sale companies putting business owners in bad credit card leases for credit card terminals. I saw companies never calling people back when they really needed help. I saw all these problems that business owners experienced owning point of sale systems. And this was what inspired me to stick around in the industry. And so when I left to go to work in nonprofit, I figured out that I actually missed advocating for business owners. And so that's why I became a payments advisor, to be a consultant to help business owners, whether they were switching out their old system with a new system, or they wanted to keep their original system, but have it at a more affordable cost. I wanted to be in a position to actually help them without requiring them to buy new equipment, requiring them to switch processors. And even though we do often help business owners find a new processor, one that's better for them, there's plenty of times where we actually don't, where we actually just come in, consult, and help them reduce costs, get better support, get better technology, things like that. And so that's why I became a payments advisor. It's not because I have this huge passion for payment systems. It's really because when I was an at risk kid and everything was on the line for me, the people that I looked up to, who looked after me, who would pay me 5, 10, $15 on the job site to, work while I was kicked out of school, those kinds of things. People that looked after me, like I saw this opportunity to work as a payments advisor as an opportunity to look after them, to look after the people who looked after me when I really needed somebody to look after me. So that's why I do what I do. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, short message from me. Around me, you can see a place where you can download the Entrepreneur's Guide to Payments. That's a book that I wrote after working for the fifth largest payment processor in the country. You can also see the process that I take people through down below, where it talks about the four-step process that typically can be done in less than a day on my part to help business owners put 10, 20, $30,000 back on their balance sheet. And that's also without having to charge their customers extra fees at checkout. So my name is Keith Sconyers, entrepreneur, storyteller, and catalyst, and I approve this message. Anyway, have a great day. Take care.